Hey guys, welcome to the Silver Report. Here we are. It's Monday, April 3rd, 2017. We have gold currently trading at $1,253.70. Silver's trading at $18.31. And let's get right into some of the economic factors that will be playing a part into the price of precious metals. Because there is a reason that silver is always a buy. And number one, despite price watchers, there was a good article about that on the website if you guys want to check that out, constitutionalcoins.com. But despite price watching and these immediate moves or falls that a lot of times are pegged to the US dollar, the Fed has an obsession with a 2% inflation rate. Now think about that 1 second. This has been a long-held standard. This is part of the Federal Reserve's charter to keep an inflation target of 2%. And do you understand really what that means? Today, to say we need to raise the cost of living by 2% is somehow going to make a better economy. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. It reduces the purchasing power by 2%, and they want to continue that rate. They want a continual decrease, a reduction of the purchasing power by 2%. That's their target goal, is to reduce the purchasing power of the US dollar. This has been something for some time, and we've fallen short of it. But now, as we see inflation heating up and it continues to get worse, that is why silver is always a buy. Because holding your money in dollars and not in stable assets, such as gold or silver, you're going to always feel that 2% decline in the purchasing power of your dollars. Holding in savings, even returns, even despite the fact that silver has had amazing returns. This year, the first quarter, how it's risen 13.5%, how it's outperformed the S&P 500, how silver is performing spectacularly right now. That is not the real reason that silver is a winner. And that's not the real reason that gold is a winner. The real reason is that the Fed has an announced goal, has a chartered goal in continually decreasing the value of the dollar. And it's amazing when you look at the valuations of currencies. If you were to read carefully into what they're telling you, when they say the dollar rose or the dollar fell, they describe it as the dollar rose compared to a basket of currencies, or the dollar fell compared to a basket of currencies, because they are comparing the dollar's value against other currencies. It's an exchange rate. It's not the actual value of a dollar. When you go to the store, the best way to really tell the value of your dollar is when you go to the grocery store. When you hear that the price of a barrel of oil is hitting all-time lows, it's dropping significantly, so much that it's causing all this chaos and fear and panic in the world, but yet you go to the gas pump and the price has risen by 50 cents compared to what it was when oil was higher, you must ask yourself, how did this take place? Why am I paying more for gas if oil is supposed to be astronomically low, at like apocalyptic levels low? And that is because of inflation. When you go to the grocery store, this tells you the real story about what it means to face inflation. And this is the Fed's goal. And they're far exceeding their goal right now. Their goal is to rob the country through inflation. Now, when you go to the grocery store, you can easily recognize that $20 just isn't $20 anymore. And since the Federal Reserve began this, the purchasing power of the United States dollar has decreased 95%. Ideally, earnings are only growing around 2% with a model like this. So if earnings are not growing, like we have stagnation right now, and we're not having increased productivity right now, so there's all of these bad economic factors, what you find is rising prices without rising wages to meet that. That's why they need to have continual federal minimum wage raises. It is because they're destroying the currency. Now, their goal is to do it very slowly. so that the robbery takes place, similar to someone who robs like that coin they took over there, that massive gold coin that was worth $1 million, without even setting off the alarms. So that's really their goal here, is to continuously steal from your savings through inflation without you ever becoming aware. The time that it will become aware is a very similar problem that we have right now. For example, we have an entire generation of baby boomers retiring, and they're going to be moving over onto Social Security. Now, they've paid into Social Security. They paid high wages. They paid a higher value dollar into Social Security. Not even to count in the fact that Social Security is bankrupt, that they've taken the money to implement Obamacare, and that they don't have the money to pay out all of these liabilities. And so, despite the fact that they paid in a higher value dollar, and we look at the younger generation, and the workforce participation rate is astronomically low right now, we find that there's not enough money. It's a big Ponzi scheme. It's dependent on the money going in to pay the people that have retired because they've already spent all of these savings. They're not just holding it in a place. And so, with less people working, with lower wages now, we find an impossible math problem going on. We find a very serious issue in the fact that they don't have this money. And secondly, when you go to retire, you've been saving this money. You saved it at a rate when you thought $200,000 was going to have you survive your golden years, have you going on vacations and going out. And so many people these days are forced borrowing against their 401ks just because of inflation, because the fact that their money is no longer able to purchase them the things that they need to live for rent. When the Fed goes around buying up these toxic mortgages in an effort to try to increase the price of real estate because it had bottomed, because it was suffering as a result of the housing crisis, these things are acts of war against the American people. That's not benefiting anyone. Increasing inflation, increasing housing prices, they're really robbing the people. That's why silver is always a buy. Gold is always a buy, because it's not a precious metal. Not only does silver have significant uses within the industrial realm, but the fact is, it's a currency, it's a money. When you watch the dollar, when it says the dollar rose today, the dollar fell today, watch gold and watch silver. They go up or they go down on little pops. And this is all as account of the fact that the dollar, compared to silver, compared to gold, has either risen or fallen. Silver and gold are denominated in dollars. Even though the price is fixed in London, it's measured in dollars. It's valued in dollars all around the world. So as the dollar rises or falls, it affects the gold trade, the silver trade, and as we watch the continual depreciation of silver and gold, what you're seeing in that price is that 2% since the moment they departed from the Bretton Woods standard is going to continuously rise the price of gold, the price of silver. It is a perfect store of money. All right, thank you guys for joining me here on the Silver Report. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe, like the videos, share the videos, get the word out. I thank you guys all so much for stopping by. As always, stay safe.